He was a decorated high school athlete growing up in Illinois as a running back and safety. Now former Northwestern Wildcat Torri Stuckey is reaching out to kids across the country struggling to rise out of poverty. His new book is called Impoverished State of Mind, Thinking Outside the Block. And it's being used by schools and youth programs throughout the Chicago area. I read this book, and I'm telling you, we should give it out to every young person in Chicago, city or suburbs. It just is so powerful. And
Thank you for the endorsement.
Start off so clearly focusing on young people, and you say, you admit, you never read books, and you applaud whoever is picking up this book at the time.
There's a 1,000-pound elephant in the room, and I want to address it from the onset so we can go ahead and move forward. And the reality is the demographic of young people that I'm trying to reach traditionally don't open books. But if they have, then 50% of the battle's already over.
We talked about in the introduction the things to celebrate in your life, you being a high school athlete and a college athlete, but you grew up in a housing project in Chicago. You talk about your experiences with drugs and gangs, but you also offer hope by saying people have a choice, and I think that's the biggest thing. Most people say, I don't have a choice.
Well, absolutely. Well, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, in Robbins, Illinois specifically, but the whole underlying premise of the book is to define yourself for yourself. Don't allow your environment to dictate to you who you are, because if you're living in an environment that's not conducive to positive growth, and it's toxic, then it can lead you down the path. Now, a lot of times we're talking about this anti-violence and all the things that's going on in Chicago is a hotbed for the issue.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people focus on the result, which is the action part of it. I'm more so focused on the beliefs, because I believe that our actions are merely a reflection of our beliefs, and our beliefs are largely influenced by our environment and our experiences. So for that, if we can then get into the mindset, because that's what I talk about poverty, I say state of mind for a reason, because it's something, it's not about moving to a better zip code. It's something that you can do right where you are. And I don't want anybody to feel like they have, like, because they're missing out on money or they don't have certain resources, they can't do it, because this poverty of the mind is a lot stronger than poverty itself.
Right. I want you to share something that you talked about in the book. The gangs came to you. They wanted you to join, and you resisted and even got beat up for it. And I think the young children today who are in the streets in Chicago and there is gun violence all around them, they think, I can't say no.
Right.
How did you do it? Where did you find that strength?
Well, I mean, again, I feel fortunate in the fact that I had a mother, and she was there, and she let me know from day one that she would risk her own life to keep me safe. I wish I can say that a lot of the young people have the same mother out there like that, and I think they would be in a better situation. But that was really it for me. My mother said don't be involved in gangs, and she, she even got wind of me or my brother being out there on the street. She would go out there and she would stand out there and she would get into arguments with some of the gangbangers on the street. So for fear of my mother's safety, I made sure that I kind of stayed clear of what was going on.
Right, but that also had to come from inside you as well. I mean, there were some negative influences in your life. Your father, as much as you loved him, was a crack addict, and
right.
And you didn't fall into that.
Well, I used it as motivation. I think you got two choices, and I even say that in the book. I was never afraid of being caught, like any young kid growing up in that environment. You saw a lot of people selling drugs, so the fear of being caught wasn't what kept me from selling drugs. It was that my dad was addicted to it. So I used it as motivation to go in a different direction.
Right. You make some controversial statements in here, certainly telling people that they should look to their own spirituality, but also telling people, burn your race card.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't want to make the assumption, or want anybody to be under the assumption that, we live in a post-racial America, because I don't believe that. But I also believe that it's a slippery slope to start pointing the finger and saying that's racial. And I'm very, very particular about what I will deem as that. I will rule out everything else before I even go there, because again, it's a slippery slope that'll keep you saying, well, the man is keeping me down, or this person is keeping me down, and that's preventing me. Well, I'm more focused on people succeeding, and that's something that would hinder them. So I'm trying to get all the hindrances out the way.
I think sports also was a great source of strength and success for you. I mean, captain of the football team at Northwestern, played so well there, played in high school. Do you encourage other young people to try to use athletics as a way to lift themselves up?
Absolutely, but I think the best part of my story, though, is the fact that I did make it in the NFL. And I had a lot of time to reflect after and figure out what I wanted to do. And I really just started off journaling, and that's what grew this passion for writing. And I was working at a homeless shelter for teenagers at the time when that was going on, and I was trying to reach them. And I was only 22 at the time, and some of the oldest youth were 21. So you're talking about maybe a year or month separating us in age, but our mindset could have been separated in light years. And what I realized then is that it's a lack of exposure that's preventing them. So in an effort to try to reach some of them, that's when I started working on the book, and it took me 6 years from that point to really get to where we are.
Well, I love what you're doing, that you not only made a success out of yourself, but you're trying to lift everyone else up with
Absolutely.
you. It is such an important read. It is so great, and I commend you for it.
Thank you.
If you want more information, there's a fundraising event you could be part of, or if you want a link to find the book, Impoverished State of Mind, you can log on to WGNTV.com/midday. Torri, thank you so much for being here.